So Basil the Great, the UK is about to make abortions up until birth a human right. This is sickening beyond belief. From next week, women who have abortions anywhere up until birth will no longer face prosecution. The law would remove all restrictions, including the two-doctor sign-off. Labour's Stella Creasy has tabled an amendment to make abortion a human right. Now remember, think about this, right? I mean, do I have to type it in? Are people that short of attention span? After all, they have the same access to the internet as me. But, just type it in. European birth rates, blah, 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 and go to images, yeah? There's a common denominator. We're way, 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 way below replacement values. And because nobody gives a flying fuck about what they're eating, anybody who's clued up starts thinking twice about that, but most of the population blissfully unaware of what they're actually munching on, and to their detriment, that's affecting fertility, virility. Look, how many times have I covered this, And their solution, doesn't matter which bloody country by and large in the Western world, their solution is immigration, immigration, immigration. And they keep telling you things like, oh, we need these people for these jobs. Look, it's what straight away says, there in plain sight, is the education system has vastly failed. It needs to be totally looked at right from the roots. Yeah? That's number one, for a start. Yeah? And then you ask yourself, why would they, from nursery school age, be promoting lifestyles and delusions about being the opposite sex and all the rest of it, and, cats and whatever the fuck, yeah? Tell me where in history any country, successful country, has gone and pursued that line when they're vastly below replacement values. Seriously. Unless it's about replacing us. Seriously. None of this should be rocket science, but the apathy in the public is astounding. Yeah? And it'll come in, Oh, why burden yourself with the potentiality of a child? After all, they're just a clump of cells. Yeah? And, we'll bump it off, no problem. We'll just remove that concern from your life. Seriously. Right up until birth. And some of these loons have been saying beyond. Yeah? Meanwhile, assisted dying, this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, initially in the UK it was about, it'll be looked at by X amount of doctors, there'll be a judge overseeing it, there'll be this, And then that was watered down and down and down and down. Yeah? March for life. You always do wonder, the controlled opposition, let's be honest, because this will still go through, and yet again, interesting colour, isn't it? It almost looks like, purple, blah, blah, blah. Seriously, and they all look like saints. Look, it's about reproductive rights. Seriously. Anyway, 1 second, let me have a sip. So, changes to UK abortion laws would stop prosecution after 24 weeks. In the biggest overhaul for 50 years, women would also no longer need the approval of two doctors for a termination. Seriously. And I'm having to look at these pictures because it was reported in the Times. So, just in case anybody's asking. So women will no longer face prosecution for having an abortion under a change in the law set to be passed by MPs next week. In the biggest overhaul of the rules around abortion in half a century, women would no longer be breaking the law if they terminated a pregnancy after 24 weeks or without approval from two doctors. Seriously, and think about what's coming in to our nations by the day who maybe don't share our values. There's this is eugenics on steroids. Yeah. So the move, which has the private support of ministers, is set to be passed in a free vote on an amendment to the Crime and Policing Bill when it returns to the Commons next week. It has already received the backing of more than 130 backbench MPs and senior government figures and expect it to pass with a large majority. Yeah? Seriously. In a survey of more than 100 MPs by YouGov, seen by the Times, 70% agreed that women should not be liable for prison sentences if they have abortions outside the set rules. So up until birth, no problem. On your way. Can we help in any way? After, there was a time, up until a few decades ago, that the focus was, even if you were, as a woman, you didn't want to have your child, there was adoption. That was focused on for so many reasons, yeah? And the abortion limit was very small at one point. And then it just over time rose and rose. And aren't we at somewhere like 24 weeks or something? Yeah? And even then, I mean, that was last 10, 15 years. I could be wrong, but it was talked about. And, oh, no. This is about women's reproductive rights. Yeah? It's bloody ongoing eugenics. That's what it bloody is. And as society becomes more soulless by the day, and ultimately becoming more occultist, when you lose all sense of right and wrong, yeah? Seriously. Creasy said her amendment would make accessing an abortion a human right and make it harder for future governments to tighten restrictions through secondary legislation and bring the rest of the UK in line with Northern Ireland, which has adopted a similar framework. How is this not evil? Seriously, when you look at it. Seriously. But, apathy and, somebody else's problem. Seriously. These are remember, these are the people that are making our lives harder by the day, and any option of which destroys or diminishes us in any way is what they offer. Seriously. As opposed to, as I've said all along, what was wrong with just embracing families, family values, the strengths that have made our Western society so successful? Yeah, so well rounded. I mean, we were getting it right up until a few decades ago. Seriously. Now it's this interconnected death cult not even hiding these days. Yeah? And always under reproductive rights, a human right to cast aside, hey, you can just shag who you like. There's no consequences. None at all. Yeah? They're not even pushing adoption much anymore. Oh, they'll push fostering. And you could look into that alone. But ultimately, they've just taken away from humanity any individual responsibility. And it just... Anybody can see, I'm just not feeling well, or I just can't deal with it just now. No problem, we'll just kill your unborn child. Bang. That's it. We feel. Yeah? You could hit this from so many angles, and as usual, I could do a better job, but... I mean, how long have we been bloody well talking about this? At what stage do you realise that you are absolutely dealing with an interconnected death cult? Doesn't matter which Western nation, all sides are controlled, masquerading as the bloody righteous, but they seem to be wanting to wipe us out as a species. Oh, a certain demographic. Yeah? Seriously. And I'll speak to you soon.